We kind of brag in Michigan, we are second only to California in the diversity of our crops, so I thought I'd get to go take a look at California last summer. And we have an awful lot in common, and it's wonderful to be here with you talking about successes in the last Farm Bill and how we really build on that. We wouldn't have been able to achieve the specialty crop title in the Farm Bill without United Fresh and all of your efforts, as well as key efforts from colleagues. I know you're going to be hearing from my great friend, Senator Barbara Boxer from California shortly, and she certainly was an important voice. And my dear friend, Congressman Cardoza, he and I were on speed dial through that whole process, back and forth between the House and the Senate and the conference committee. It was no small thing to get something new in the Farm Bill. You know, we tend to be a traditional place where we tend to keep sort of the same parameters all the time. And so to get that new title was something that, as you know, was a big fight, frankly. And now that we're in there, now it's just about improving on things. And we're going to need your help as we start work next year on the Farm Bill in the Senate, as we begin hearings and so on. It's going to be important that we continue to have the successful coalition that worked for us in the last Farm Bill, and that we be able to build on that, and that all of you are very engaged as we move forward. And it's also going to be important that my colleagues hear about success stories. One of the biggest areas of debate was the specialty crop block grant, and it's going to be very important that we have your help in communicating with your senators and your House members about how that works for you in your state. One of the things I've stressed continually is that when we say specialty crops, that's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different crops, a lot of different producers, and that we need flexibility state by state for all of you working with your departments of agriculture in your states to be able to determine what it is you want to be focused on, whether that's marketing issues, export issues, R&D, invasive species, pesticides, whatever it is, that needs to be done state by state, and having that flexibility in the specialty crop block grant is very important. But we're going to need to hear from you about the aspects of that make sense. And we also know that we need to hear from you about what's not working, or what we need to be doing more of. One of my goals is to streamline what we've put in, make it easier for growers and processors. So your experience, again, is very important to us as we move forward. When we think about all of the discussion around health, prevention, wellness, you know, all of the importance in our country today of focusing on low healthcare costs by having people be eating the right kinds of foods, well, you're growing and processing and selling the right kind of foods. And that's a very important message for us to be able to continue to stress and move forward on. As you know, we also have in front of us a very important food safety bill that has been an important bipartisan effort that we are hopeful. I'm sure it will be done by the end of the year. It'd be great to get it done in the next 3 weeks. I'm not sure that's going to be possible, but we certainly want to and expect to get it done by the end of the year. You may be aware of a provision, a bill of mine that was incorporated into that called the Growing Safe Food Act, which has been become an important part that would allow farmers and processors and wholesalers to be able to receive training and other assistance on the new food safety requirements. And it's very specific at getting USDA involved in that. And that is part of the bill, address a number of concerns, particularly from our smaller growers and processors. And I think it's very important that we make sure that that provision stays in there. We also need to make sure that products that come in from other countries have the same kinds of standards that all of you are working under. A very, very important issue. The safety bill, food safety bill as it's written now, as you know, would allow the FDA to deny entry of high-risk food that has been produced in facilities that refuse to allow U.S. inspectors to verify that food is safe. You're all following tough safety standards every day. We need to make sure those safety standards are being applied to those that are your competitors coming in from other countries. There are real consequences, as all of you know, when we allow contaminated foods to come in from other countries. We saw this a few years ago with tomatoes. We've seen this a number of times, but when American tomato growers were severely impacted when the public lost confidence overall in the safety of tomatoes after the salmonella outbreak that was linked to Mexico. So it matters what the rules are, and it matters that you're not operating at a disadvantage because the rules or the safety standards are different. So even though our producers were growing safe, healthy foods at the time, the fears that caused serious economic consequences, and we certainly don't want to see that repeated. So I'm very hopeful that we can get this bill done as soon as possible, get it on to the President, and be able to then work with you on how it's implemented. We also, as you know, passed in the Senate a very important child nutrition bill, the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act. It's now in the House, and it's also very, very important that we get that passed as well. That adds really to a number of things we did in the last Farm Bill, the fresh fruit and vegetable snack program that Senator Harkin championed, and I was pleased to champion with him the extension of that to all of our schools. Again, very important, and we know it works. We know that when students have the chance to be able to pick up that apple or grapes or oranges or bananas, whatever it is, that they will do that they will eat fresh fruits and vegetables if they're available to them. And the snack program has been a very big success. We also have been focused on upgrading kitchens. I was pleased in the Recovery Act to be able to put some dollars in for schools to be able to update their kitchen operations so that they actually can be having more than just throwing some chicken nuggets in the microwave, but actually be able to have salad bars, actually be able to provide broader or nutritional food because they have the equipment to do it. We've had some cases in Michigan where schools have gone ahead on their own and then working with local growers have really been able to create some wonderful partnerships, but for them it started by renovating their kitchen operations so they could be providing more healthy alternatives for young people. So that's something that is part of the Recovery Act as well, to be able to help schools invest in that. Also, Senator Lugar and I were able to get a provision in the child nutrition bill for after-school programs that will expand healthy meals for low-income children to have healthy foods after school in very difficult areas. We've also been focused on how to reduce the paperwork for schools, streamline things so that more dollars goes to food for children and less goes to bureaucracy and paperwork, which is really important. We also included a performance bonus to increase reimbursements to schools when they meet new healthy food standards. That's important. So whether it's focusing on nutrition, whether it's focusing on food safety, whether it's focusing on where we need to go in the Farm Bill in terms of support for our specialty crop growers, for all of you, this is an exciting time, I think. And it's a real time of opportunity for all of you, for all of us who care about this, for the industry broadly, to be at the right place at the right time, to be able to both meet the needs of children and families and continue to grow a very, very important industry, very important businesses that are in each of our states and certainly alive and well in Michigan. In 1946, when Harry Truman signed the National School Lunch Act, he said, "In the long run, no nation is healthier than its children and more prosperous than its farmers." I happen to still think that's true. That's why I'm very, very proud to work with you as a partner, to have authored the Senate provision on specialty crops and to continue to work with you in partnering to move forward a very important part of our economy, a very important part of our focus on health and nutrition in the long run for families in this country. And Robert, it's a great pleasure again to have an opportunity to work with you. Thanks very much.